Hello, dear listener, and welcome to ThriveCast, unlocking your full potential. Your well-being is our priority, and we're here to provide you with practical, heartfelt advice on living your best life. Together, we'll explore identity, purpose, prosperity mindset, authenticity, and so much more. So grab your headphones and get ready. Your journey starts now. So, welcome everybody to ThriveCast, Unlocking Your Full Potential. I'm Oscar, I'm an emotional fitness coach, and I help people find emotional clarity so they can align with their authentic and really powerful self. And with me today, I have Katarina Hansens-Karlsson. Katarina, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Oscar. So I'm an international speaker, and I'm also an entrepreneurial brilliance consultant. So I help people find their unique brilliance as an entrepreneur. And also I help them identify the inner saboteur, which we are going to talk about today. So yes, let's get started. The inner saboteur. Our subject today is the inner saboteur and how to conquer it. So my first question is, and Oscar, feel free to send my question back to me if you like. You know, it doesn't always have to be like one way.
But, sure, I will.
Thank you. So what is the inner saboteur and what is its purpose?
Yeah. So what is the inner saboteur? Well, the inner saboteur is that part of you that somehow finds a way to escape from what would be considered your own, well, your own divine willpower, I would say. It's like this identity within yourself that finds ways to not do what you know somehow that you need to do. It's the identity that usually causes you to take a job and have a boss talking to you because you do not necessarily like to be the one who drives yourself, for instance. There's so many ways an inner saboteur can show up. Obviously, that was just one example. You can have an inner saboteur in a relationship where you maybe take the back burner, or you are the one who is always in charge and the other one is really weak, or you are the one who is weak and the other one is the one who is strong. The point is here that there's a pattern in your life that you're having that is not to your benefit. And if we really should go into the depths of what it actually is all about, is about keeping you small until the point that you die. And that's it. And it's extremely harsh and it's super, super subtle because it's almost like a voice inside of your head that you are so used to, and it's habits that you are so used to do that you can't simply see them yourself. That's why we usually need a coach, maybe like me or Katarina or someone else that can, put a finger on what it is that you're doing that is totally sabotaging your life. And Katarina, what would you say that the inner saboteur is, and what is its purpose?
Thank you, Oscar. Yes. For me, by the way, if you think you don't have an inner saboteur, you're cheating yourself, actually. We all have one. We all have one. Even the most successful people in the world have an inner saboteur. So we're not alone. So, what's its purpose? Well, I'm going to say today to keep you safe and small, as Oscar said, but also to keep you safe, small, and stupid and mediocre. Why? Because it wants complete power over you. And it's very strong. It knows you inside out. It will speak to you softly. It will manipulate you. It will tell you, like Oscar was saying, oh, you don't have to do that today. You can do it tomorrow. You know, if this sounds familiar to you, that's your inner saboteur speaking. All right. So its purpose is to keep you safe and small and stupid. Excuse me, but we are all programmed to be that way. The thing is, it wants to have complete control of you until you die. That's its purpose. So, next question. How does it stop us?
Well, we almost went into that, but how does it stop us? Well, it stops us, but by first of all, believing that it truly is us, that it is you. So you believe it is you, and therefore you act in accordance with what you believe is you. Essentially, it stops us by saying or talking about that the self-image of you truly is you. The way it shows up is you. And it stops us by giving us and making us addicted to common emotions that we usually have in our life that causes us to go into the same habitual ways of acting and being. So you walk around a circle instead of a spiral that is spiraling outwards. So you are stuck in a loop and you don't see it because every day that you wake up, you are in the same mindset. You're in the same self-image that governs your thoughts. And usually it takes an enormous act of willpower to break the spell, to get out of that somewhat, well, those habitual emotions. And it's extremely important for you to understand what is your habitual emotions, because mine is not the same as Katarina's, and Katarina's is not the same as someone else's, and so forth. It is extremely individual. Therefore, the age-old saying of know thyself. What would you say, Katarina?
Oh, Oscar, this is such an amazing subject, actually. It's one of my favorite subjects, even though a lot of people think, oh my God, inner saboteur, boring. Just tell me how to be successful. Well, nobody, I tell you, nobody is successful unless they have uncovered their inner saboteur strategy, the fake identity, because the inner saboteur is fake, completely fake. You also have a habit and you also have an outcome to that habit. When you've identified that, then you're empowered. But I want to say also that the inner saboteur operates from your brain, and we all have that. We have a reptilian brain. If you put your hand at the back of your neck, just above your spinal cord, is the reptilian brain. And it's there to so-called protect us. But it's fear-based. You can never be successful or thrive if you're driven by the inner saboteur. And most of us are, really, truly. No wonder, we're in trouble in the world. So we have a reptilian brain. It's fear-based. And how does it stop us? It stops us. It doesn't want us to be successful. It doesn't want us to thrive. It doesn't want us to be happy. It just wants us to be, to comply. Like we're taught at school, comply, be compliant, adapt, but all the time we are submitting to this programming. So we need to rebel against the inner saboteur because we need to have the courage to say, no, my life is not mediocre. I'm here for a purpose. I'm here. And, even if I don't have a divine purpose, I'm going to make it up. And I'm here to thrive. And when I thrive, everybody around me will thrive. Now, the inner saboteur, how does it stop us? First of all, it denies it has an inner saboteur. Secondly, it points at everybody else's inner saboteur and says, well, it's his fault and your fault and their fault and the government's fault how do you know you have an inner saboteur? Because you're always in drama, you're always in story. And you think that your life will be fine if you just fix him and her and your mom and your dad and your sister and your brother and your best friend. If you fix their inner saboteur, everything will be fine because it's their inner saboteur, not yours. You pointed one finger at somebody else. You're pointing like 4 fingers, 3 fingers and a thumb at yourself. So that's what we need to do, is to listen to our inner saboteur and do almost the opposite.
And something that I wanted to add there, which is so crucial to this, as you said that, we're pointing the finger to everyone else. Why do you think Jesus, when he walked the face of the earth, said, treat thy neighbor as thyself?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you treat everyone as yourself, or everyone else as you treat yourself, which means that it goes the opposite way as well. Because if you are the one who is kind and always out to fix everyone else, what is it that you really want to do? You want to fix yourself.
Yeah. Exactly.
And it's really important to understand that, like, know thy God, or love thy God with all your heart and treat your neighbor as yourself. That's the golden rule in all human relations, and it's applicable in everything.
And in every religion. Absolutely.
And in every religion.
Exactly. So the next question is our power. What is our power over the inner saboteur?
Yeah. Well, I would say instantly that our power is, first of all, awareness. You need to be aware whom it is that is running the show. Who is the puppet master? And really become aware of what is this puppet master, as we're speaking of. The ultimate outcome for that puppet master is to kill you. But the daily ways that this is expressing itself is through the habitual things you do throughout your life. What are the patterns that you're saying to yourself that is ultimately self-sabotaging yourself? What are the emotions you on a daily basis go around and having without really discerning them? You see, because one thing is becoming aware that there's an inner saboteur, then it is for you to discern, how does your inner saboteur expresses itself in thoughts, in emotions, in attitudes, in behaviors, in desires. Know thyself. Extremely important. And you, Katarina?
Yeah, thank you, Oscar. So how do we have power over the inner saboteur? Okay, so if you see this, it's our fake identity. We have a weakness, we have a bad habit, and we have an outcome to that. Right. Now, we also have another side to us, which is based on our true identity, our courage, our love, our unique expression in the world, and our vision. Now, this true identity is 1,000, 1,000,000,000 times more powerful than your inner saboteur. Why has our inner saboteur been so powerful in the past. Why? Because we've allowed it. We've identified it. We haven't identified with our true nature. When we find our true nature, we'll realize that we have total power over the inner saboteur. And we can actually use it as well, because whatever it says, it's a lie. Even if it's like a sweet lie, like, oh no, you've just accomplished something, Katerina. You've just accomplished something, Oscar. Just take it easy. Just relax today, because you really don't have to do anything. No. Yeah, you do.
Exactly. And this is also what I want to add to this, exactly what you're saying, because you may be your true, your true powerful self you've had him, you've been there, you've had her as well, him and her, for whomever you are. But the point is this, that tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow you will wake up, and because you have ingrained a certain pattern, you are very used to the way you're acting. That means that you need to remind yourself of who you truly are. If you don't have a way of reminding yourself, if you call it affirmations, or you call it visualizations or thoughts, or whatever it is that puts you in the frame of mind of that true power inside of yourself, you will fall into the normal habitual ways of being. But you have to keep at this. You have to keep at this. That's why they say forming a habit takes at least 21 days. I would say 90 days. So you have to keep at breaking the spell and promoting this true identity in your mind for at least 21 days, preferably more.
Absolutely. Which takes us to the next question. How do we use the inner saboteur? How do we use it to our benefit?
Yeah. Again, the beautiful thing about the inner saboteur is exactly that when you find how it thinks and how it feels and how it acts, there's a part inside of you that does the absolute opposite. Which means usually when you know what you don't like, you know what you do like. It's a little bit of brain power to dare to flip the switch. There's always a reluctance to go out of a frame of mind or a state of mind that you are so used to have, because you think that, oh, that's me, that's how I am, I don't change. But it's really for you to understand that, looking at the opposite side and seeing, like, what am I truly? Just to give you an example, for instance, you can have courage, and then you have the opposite of courage, which is fear, because courage is an expression of love. You might have, for instance, courage versus fear, because courage is an expression of love. And so how does this express itself? Well, inside of you, for instance, when you're supposed to do something, you will, if the true power inside of you is really determined, the power or the part of you that is not determined is hesitant. Because you see, every emotion has a flip side to it. And usually the inner saboteur represents the negative, the pessimistic, the reluctant, the unwilling part inside of you. And so you have determination and you have hesitant. And the determined part inside you, it's saying, nothing can deter me from my path. I will go forth with this in power. And the hesitant part inside of you is saying, I'm unsure and keep second guessing my decisions. And if you believe either of these thoughts, they are true, and you will act accordingly. So it's really important to understand the flip side of the inner saboteur, because it gives you access to what is your true identity. Katarina?
Yeah. So how do we use our inner saboteur to our benefit? Okay. So the top 2% understand their inner saboteur and have analyzed it and have turned it completely around. That's their secret, but it's also your secret today. So if you find your fake identity, find who your inner saboteur says you are, right? And it's their truth, but it's a lie. Then you identify your habit. It affects every single area of your life. So, since it's a liar and it's not aligned with truth, then you can turn the identity around. You can, for example, if you think you're a victim, you're right. But how's that going to affect your life, your relationships? You know, who wants to have a relationship with a victim? No, another victim, maybe, or a tyrant, you know, and you can play that game. But are you going to thrive as a victim? Never, never. Okay. So you turn that around, what would that be? I am the hero of my life, for example. I am the heroine of my life, right? Because a victim is always subjected to the environment, the people around him or her. But when you say, I'm the hero of my life, I'm the creator of my life, I'm the master of my life, you are not a victim. You can't be both. And that's the truth. Then you take your habit, and if it's procrastination, say, I'm unstoppable. That may not seem true for you straight away. But as Oscar says, it takes 21 days or 90 days or however long it takes. If you keep saying to yourself, unstoppable, that will have much, much more power than if you say to yourself, I procrastinate. So watch how that affects your relationship, your health, your finances, your business, everything. So that's how you use the inner saboteur to your benefit. Okay, so do you have anything to add, Oscar?
Yeah, I do have something to add. Now, it can be a little bit tricky sometimes to find out what is this identity, and you can definitely do this with us as coaches. But you can also look up a little bit of what Carl Jung talked about. For instance, he said that there are 4 archetypes within men, and there are 4 archetypes within women. So one of the 4 archetypes in men is king, warrior, magician, and lover. Now that is the true representative. That is the sound archetypes, the true identities within ourselves. And the opposite of king, warrior, magician, and lover, obviously that represents the shadow side. And for women, for instance, you have the mother, you have the heroine, you have the wise woman, and you have the fascinating woman. Right? You have the mother, the one who's really, tender and loving. You have the heroine, the one that is like, I'm gonna do out there, I'm gonna forge my path. I'm the Amazon, and you have the fascinating woman, which is the one who just loves to feel vibrant and radiant and mesmerize people. And then you have the wise woman, at the end of, or not the end of the life, but as wisdom grows and you start discerning things and you start becoming the one who is the medicine woman in the tribes, right? And all of these identities lives within ourselves, and they express themselves through attitude, emotions, behaviors. Again, why then now know thyself? Because essentially there is there's a true identity hidden within yourself. When you find it, you are empowered like nothing you can ever imagine.
Beautiful. Okay, so Oscar, how do people contact you?
Yes, you can find me through my website, realitydecoding.com, and also on Facebook as Live Your Purpose, and on YouTube as Oscar Nygren. And Katarina, how do people find you?
The best way is LinkedIn. I'm Catherine Carlson, Katherine, Carlson, Carlsson. And you can book a call with me on my Calendly. And next week, we are going to be talking about entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is a spiritual game. So welcome back next week, and thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and take care.